In the last few days, there has been a furore in the country following the historic hike in fuel prices. And we're now yet again asking ourselves, just who makes these decisions that affect us every day? Do they know us? Do they really care about us? Do they understand our struggles and our needs? Interestingly, these are the questions I have every week on my show Business Now on Monday afternoons. The heartbreaking stories of small business owners, hardworking individuals who employ over 70% of Kenyans, but yet do not see the reciprocation from government agencies and their representatives in Parliament. Fuel prices are a big issue. Yes, they affect all of us, whether you're employed or unemployed, running a top 100 company or a small business employing 1 or 2 people. That is why we are now once again asking ourselves about policies, regulations and laws. Who passes them and whether they have us in mind when making these life-changing decisions. But guess what? Every week when I sit down with any small business owner who's trying to make some chums in this country, they will tell me stories. Stories about promises by government of initiatives that in Kenyan parlance wanaonea viu sasa. Policies like the Credit Guarantee Scheme, which was essentially to make the government the guarantor for small business owners in seeking loans and fundings to help them grow their businesses. SMEs have been asking about the stimulus program that was aimed at helping them through the COVID-19 pandemic, a program that was designed only with the formal businesses in mind. Yet, over 70% of the businesses in Kenya are informal and yet provide much of the employment in this country. SMEs will tell you of the contradiction of the big banks, all making profits and growing in revenue through a pandemic year. Yet, according to a CBK report, about 1/4 of loan applications by SMEs were rejected by the banks. And when they turned to microfinance institutions for funding, 98% of SMEs saw their applications rejected there too. Why? Because these institutions would rather lend to government. So once again, it would seem like government is getting in the way of the very people that it is designed to serve. And then we have the Buy Kenya, Build Kenya initiative, a great one, and one I must say we champion on my business show every week. But Kenyans can barely afford some of the locally made products because their cost of production is simply out of this world, in part due to the high cost of electricity triggered by hiked fuel prices. This latest hike is a double blow to Kenyans running small businesses, some out of their kitchens, others out of their backyards, majority of them in the retail space, buying and selling goods, for whom transport is a major cost factor, a cost that is certain to go higher with the increased fuel cost. But yet, now that we're in the campaign season, you'll hear complaints from the same politicians who passed the law on 8% of VAT on fuel, the same ones who passed the Energy Act that the regulator abides by, the same leaders in the executive who present those bills to Parliament, the same presidency that signs those bills into law. The same leaders who preach day in and day out about entrepreneurship, the same government that is pushing for formalization of these businesses without giving support to the same business owners. The same government that is crowding out the local market with domestic borrowing, some of it, according to the Controller of Budget, to pay international debt in contravention of the PFM Act. The same leaders who claim to care about the small businesses. All of them are now complaining here with you and I. And all of them, across the political divide, are now promising you heaven after August 2022. Ladies and gentlemen, the facts are out for all to see. The current fuel crisis has been long in coming. The high cost of living we're experiencing did not happen by accident. Parliament was one of its key architects. The politicians who are making noise now knew about it. And yes, even the presidency was part and parcel of the decision. But as they say, what you do with this information is entirely up to you. That's my take.